Hello, welcome or welcome back to Infodumps with Pichu. It's a new day, a new video, and today's video, as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, is about the next theme park that I'm going to talk about, which I did mention in my Chessington World of Adventures video, Thorpe Park. So, Thorpe Park. I'm just going to get straight in with it. Thorpe Park is a theme park that I've been going to since I was a kid, because it was really close to where I used to live. So my dad used to like take me after school and stuff. It was like close enough to be able to do that. So yeah, it's somewhere that I went a lot growing up, and so it's somewhere that I have a lot of memories of, a lot of nostalgia for. But it's also somewhere where I've seen the changes that have been made to the park. So I have some opinions, both positive and negative, about Thorpe Park, and similarly to my Chessington video, that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm going to go through all of the rides that they have currently. Well, not all of them, just the ones that I want to talk about. And then I'm going to talk about what the park used to have, any memories of the park, things like that. I do have the park map next to me, because when I was down south and we went to Chessington, also went to Thorpe Park as well, just as a little bit of a nostalgia thing, you know? Like, why not go to somewhere that I spent so much time in growing up? So yeah, this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go through all of the rides from current times, and then yeah, we'll go from there. I also want to say today, I am wearing my Swarm hoodie that I bought when I was there last. It's really small. I got a size too small, I think. So I don't actually really wear it that much, but the Swarm. Okay. I remember when the Swarm opened. That was crazy. Anyway, let's just go from left to right on the map. But that means that we're going to start with talking about Hyperia. Hyperia is a roller coaster that I was very excited for. I kept up with people's videos and vlogs and stuff like that of the whole process of them getting the planning permission, of them actually then like building it and all of that. I really followed that process quite closely because I was just excited for a new like good roller coaster in the UK. And I'd been excited for it, I've been excited for it for a long time. And in June, I managed to actually go to Thorpe Park for the first time since Hyperia had opened. And my experience was not one that was positive. It pains me to say, it was not a positive experience for me. So we get there, and everything else is pretty small queues, like tolerable ones. But of course, Hyperia, being a new roller coaster and quite an impressive one when you look at the stats, had a very long queue. And I was like, okay, let's just wait in the queue. Fuck it. So we waited and we got on after probably like an hour and a half or so. And we get on it, and I'm excited because it's a Mack roller coaster, right? And I really like Icon at Blackpool Pleasure Beach, which I'm not going to talk about Blackpool Pleasure Beach because there's nothing really spectacular there to talk about, but yeah, so I really like Icon. So I was like, okay, I like Mack rides, so I have high hopes for this, basically. So we get on it after waiting for a long time, and I'm like, it's a lap bar restraint. That's pretty cool, because I was excited about that, you know? Like, lap bar restraints, they're awesome. Like, for example, on like an RMC hybrid, like on Iron Gwazi, which is the only one I've been on, that's a lap bar restraint, and it's really good on that ride because, you know, when you're doing all these like smooth transitions and stuff, like you can really sort of feel that sort of hang time. So I was really excited for it to be lap bar restraints instead of over the shoulder. But I very quickly realised that I think over the shoulder restraints would have been a better choice, and I'll explain why. So we get up the lift hill. Pretty quick lift hill, actually. And immediately, the second the roller coaster starts going down, and for context, I was sat in like the middle, I guess. It was pretty like much in the middle of like the ride car, so I wasn't at the back and I wasn't at the front. I was just in the middle, and that's usually the most boring experience you'll get on a roller coaster, because either you're at the front and you go a bit slower, but you can like see everything. Like you have really good vision of like the track and the surrounding area. So usually being at the front is good for people who really cherish that in a ride experience. And being at the back, you feel all the forces a lot stronger and you go a lot quicker, because obviously you're being pulled down by the roller coaster car as it goes, like by the roller coaster train, sorry, as it goes around the track. So if you like thrill-seeking stuff, you sit at the back. But if you sit in the middle, you kind of just experience just like the ride, right? And I say this to say, I was sat in the middle. And so yeah, we go up the lift hill. I'm looking down, I'm like, this is tall, this is exciting, right? Because I'm a roller coaster lover. I love roller coasters. My favourite roller coaster in the world is Iron. Secondly is probably Velocicoaster, to be honest with you. And then my third, I don't know, who knows. But anyway, beyond the point. So it starts going down, the first drop, and immediately I just get this pain in my head and in my neck. And I'm like, so here we are. So here we are. I did not find, and I basically suffered throughout the entire ride. Like I was just begging for it to be over that by that point, because it hurt the most a roller coaster has ever hurt me. And I was like, that's weird. I wonder why that is. Like, I can go on the Smiler, no issues. Like, it's not like an issue with me, I don't think. Because, like, Smiler doesn't really bother me. Like, any roller coaster like that does not bother me. Like, Iron, completely fine. But this one roller coaster in particular, Hyperia, hurt like hell. And I was like, oh, weird, okay. So I asked my dad, I was like, did that hurt for you too? And he was like, yeah, I think it's because, like, obviously it goes fast, and even though it hadn't been open for that long, it wasn't smooth. So, like, you were kind of, like, shaking around and, like, trying to, like, hold your head back. But because of how, like, fast and, like, cramped the layout is, it meant that, like, you couldn't really, like, keep your head pushed back, really, and you didn't have the over-the-shoulder restraints that you can, like, you know, you can, like, lean your head on to, like, brace yourself, because that's what I have to do on, like, rides like Colossus, right? Which before its retrack was extremely rough, but I'd still happily go on it, because I could just hold my head against the over-the-shoulder restraint, and then it wouldn't hurt. So anyway, we get off it, and I'm like, wow, that hurt, and my dad was like, yeah, I agree. And I was like, great, it's not just me. And then we go on it again the next day. And I'm like, okay, maybe I was just, like, having a bad day. Like, the day we went on it was the day we'd travelled down, and it was after Chessington as well. So I was like, okay, maybe yesterday I was just tired. I wasn't really, like, properly, like, equipped to brace myself properly. So I was like, okay, maybe it was just an issue with me when I went on it the first time. Let's just go on it again and see. So we queue up for it again. We get on. And I think we sat pretty near to the middle as well, again this time. Just we sat where we were told to, because it was busy. And we go on it again. And we get up the lift hill, and I'm like, right, please don't hurt this time. And then the second it goes down the drop, it hurt again. And I was like, fuck sake. So I go on it around a second time, just begging for it to be over. Because I'm like, this is a painful experience like I have never experienced. Like, genuinely, I have been on a lot of roller coasters in my lifetime. Ones from major parks, ones from sort of in-between parks. I've been on... what's that ride at Flamingo Land? Hero. I've been on Hero at Flamingo Land. And I was fine. But for some reason, you put me on Hyperia, I was struggling. It was genuinely awful. It's the worst feeling roller coaster I'd ever been on. Even like Soar, which is old at this point, that opened in what, like 2012? Maybe even earlier, 2010? Even that, was so much easier to ride and so much less painful than Hyperia, which had opened, less than a year prior when I went on it. So that was my Hyperia experience. A roller coaster I had kept up with for so long, up until the opening. And then I finally get my chance to go on it, and I'm like, I'm prepared for this to be my favourite roller coaster in the country. And it's at the bottom of my list. It has to be. It was just painful. And I don't know if it truly was a me issue, because I don't know if I haven't looked to see if anyone else has had complaints about it. But genuinely, I was not a fan, unfortunately. So, yeah, that's Hyperia. That was a really long story, I think, that I went into there, but I was just so disappointed. Because I was really just hyping it up in my head just for it to be just a really not pleasant experience. So, yeah, that was my thoughts on Hyperia. Carrying on down the list, actually, the next roller coaster to talk about, Saw the Ride. Saw the Ride, it used to be a favourite of mine for sure. Like back when it first opened, because I like a good horror film. I do know a lot about the Saw franchise. I haven't seen many of the films, but I've watched a lot of like video essays and sort of stuff like that about the whole franchise in general. So yeah, Saw the Ride has always been a favourite of mine, both thematically and in actual layout, because it's got quite a typical Gerstlauer layout really. But it's a really good ride, always been a favourite of mine. But I did find that this time around, with it being open for as long as it has gotten pretty rough. So it also wasn't the most like pleasant ride experience, but it wasn't as bad as Hyperia. Like it was tolerable. I went on it I think like 3 times, just going like around the single rider queue. So yeah, because my dad wasn't interested in going on it after Hyperia. I think it kind of did him in. So he was like, I'm just gonna take a break for a bit. But if you want to go on Saw twice right now, you go on Saw twice right now. So I went on it. I went on it a few times. But yeah. So that's Saw the Ride. That's always been a favourite. I just also love that you've just got like, you know, Billy the Puppet like comes out and it's got all these theming, like it has like swinging like axes. It's got the dead body that sprays water up at you. It's got then the actual like saw blades on the vertical beyond vertical drop, I think it is. So we love Saw the Ride. The next one, Ghost Train. I haven't actually been on Ghost Train. Crazy. But I remember when it opened, but I never went on it. But my dad did go on it when we were last there. And he said it was kind of mediocre, so. The next ride, just going down the park map, is The Walking Dead. My thoughts on The Walking Dead. Well, okay. So I remember when it was X No Way Out. That was like, my version of that roller coaster is X No Way Out. And that, for me, was a great roller coaster. Like, for me, yeah, so X No Way Out and then Rock and Roller Coaster at Disneyland Paris. Those were always, like, top roller coasters for me. Because, and then also Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit at Universal Studios in Orlando. Those, for me, are so good because it combines the two things that I love most in the world, aside from people, obviously. Roller coasters and music. Those are the pillars of my life. Roller coasters and music. And you combine them together. Oh, it's my heaven. It's literally my version of heaven. So all three roller coasters being gone. Please, can we make more roller coasters where music is the key component? Because there is nothing more suited to me. So for me, just for me, more roller coasters with music. But yeah, so X No Way Out was always a favourite of mine. Always would go on it if the queue was like shorter than like 10 minutes. Always get on X No Way Out. And like walking through to the actual like station, it was just like, sorry, excuse my voice, I'm still recovering from being ill. But you were just walking down dark corridors with like colourful strobe lights and it was just playing like rave music and it was awesome. genuinely, like, the best queue line experience, because you were just there, just jamming out while you were waiting to get on this roller coaster. And so that was always really good. But then Walking Dead, I went on it, and, like, walking through those dark corridors without the, like, cool, like, lighting and music was just kind of anticlimactic. It's like you're just walking through dark corridors. And you have to go through, like, a pre-show first, too. Like, they play, like, a video to you sort of explaining, like, the concept. And then you just walk through, like, dark corridors for, like... And it's, like, it's not a short corridor. It's got to be at least, like, 5 full minutes of just walking down this corridor. And it's just nothing there. It's just dark. And, to be fair, it was entertaining when we went. Because there was this group of, I'd imagine, just teenagers who, for some reason, were just really scared of a dark corridor. Like, obviously no one was going to jump out, there wasn't a queue, so they're not just going to have, like, a scare actor stood there for, like, 20 minutes waiting for, like, people to come in to ride the ride. So, they were just screaming, because every time they turned a corner, they thought someone would be there. And I'm like, it's just a boring dark corridor. But yeah, so that kind of made the experience of getting to the ride a little bit more entertaining than it would have been if there wasn't many people there. But yeah. So that's The Walking Dead. The ride itself, I mean, it's just like your typical, like, indoor coaster, where, like, the key selling point is that it's indoors. It's nothing, like, if it was out in the open, it wouldn't be anything spectacular. It's just the fact that it's inside and typically in the dark. I don't remember any of the story of that, though. I think it was just escape the zombies. But it wasn't very well themed. Similarly to the Gruffalo. If you haven't seen my Chessington World of Adventures yet to see my rant about the Gruffalo, go watch that video, because I really get into it about the Gruffalo. Okay, the next ride to get to is Nemesis Inferno. I forgot how good Nemesis Inferno is, I have to be honest, because I haven't lived near Thorpe Park for like nearly 10 years now. So I haven't been there I haven't been to Thorpe Park. I think I've been maybe once or twice since I moved away from where Thorpe Park is. And I honestly did think it would be a little rough by now, because it was always smooth and it's just such a perfect layout. But yeah, so I expected it to be a little rough by now. But I was oddly really surprised by just how smooth it still felt, and that is why Balagram Mabillard is my favourite roller coaster manufacturer, because first of all, the box track just is stunning visually. I have a tattoo, I just free-handed a tattoo of it on my leg when I also did the vampire logo. But yeah, like, B&M box track is just beautiful to look at. It's my favourite visually. And then their rides they maintain such a smoothness. Like, even Nemesis, the original Nemesis, which I'll talk about Alton Towers in a video coming up in the future. But even Nemesis, before its retrack to become, what did they call it? Nemesis Reborn or something? Even before it became Nemesis Reborn, and everyone was like, oh, it's so rough. I'm like, you say it's so rough, which, if you look at it on its own, like in a vacuum, yeah, it is a little. But if you compare Nemesis before it became Nemesis Reborn to any Intamin that was built around the same time, the difference is, like, it's noticeable. It's noticeably less uncomfortable to ride an older B&M than it is to ride an older, like, Intamin or Mack or Gerstlauer. So, Bolliger and Mabillard, I love you. But yeah, Nemesis Inferno. The layout is just pure perfection. It doesn't get better. Like, none of it feels forced or squished in. Everything flows together so smoothly. And, like, the speed you get, it's fast, but you still notice every single element that you go through. And you still, you still get to feel all of those sensations without it being too much. And I think that's also a testament to roller coaster manufacturing 10 plus years ago, 20 years ago really, if you talk about Nemesis Inferno, to current day. Current day, everyone's trying to beat unbeatable records, right? Like, Hyperia's trying to be the tallest and fastest, like, roller coaster in the world. Not in the world, in Europe. But if you look at Nemesis Inferno, that wasn't trying to beat any records, I don't believe. Nemesis Inferno was just trying to be a good roller coaster, and I think that's really become like the downfall of theme parks, especially in the UK and especially parks run by Merlin, is that all they're trying to do is have numbers. They're trying to have numbers to beat records. And that to me is making roller coasters that are not enjoyable. In making these coasters that are built for numbers and for records, you are not actually putting thought into what the ride experience is. You're not putting thought into theming. You're not putting thought into how do we want the rider to feel when they ride this roller coaster. Like, what? They're not thinking about that. They're just thinking about, right, we want the tallest roller coaster in Europe or in the UK or in the world. We want the roller coaster with the most inversions, right? Like the Smiler, which I will talk about more when we get to Alton Towers, pushes so many limits, and like the Smiler is just about tolerable if you've got a strong stomach. But like Hyperia, for example, because they wanted to go for the height, they didn't take into account the speed and the forces, and it made for, and they just wanted to squish as many elements in as well, because it's not a long roller coaster. Like, they've just squished so many elements into one thing, and you go around it so fast because they wanted to make it so tall. And it's just, your body just, like, freaks out, or mine did anyway, and my dad's too. So, and going on Hyperia, like, yeah, now I can say I've been on Hyperia, I've been on the tallest roller coaster in Europe, but I can't say I enjoyed Hyperia, and that's a lot more important to me. Like, literally, like at Thorpe Park, like, by the time that me and my dad were leaving on that last day, all we did was go on Nemesis Inferno and the Swarm. We didn't go on anything else, because to us, those two roller coasters, both Bolliger and Mabillard, were the only ones that felt smooth and enjoyable. And again, it's a testament to how roller coaster creation used to be, and a testament to Bolliger and Mabillard making great track. The next one to talk about is... Do I talk about the Rumba Rapids? I mean, loads of memories on it. Didn't it used to be Ribena? Back in the day, Ribena Rumba Rapids. That was always fun. Like, you can't go wrong. If you're there on a nice day, you might as well get on the rapids. What am I talking about next? Okay. I'll go down the left side of the map and then I'll get to the right side of the map. So the next one to talk about, I can talk about Zodiac. Zodiac is just one of those, you know those ones where you sit in like a pod and then it just spins around and then like goes ooh, and like you're just like gravity like sticking to the bottom of the pod. That's always fun. Can't say no to that. Quantum is low-key, it's this one. It's like a magic carpet. That one's always been like a favourite flat ride of mine. And like, I'm not a flat ride person, really. Because I just, as fun as they are, roller coasters are like the interest for me, the special interest for me. So, but Quantum is a favourite of mine, because I just love that feeling of just that like weightlessness that you get on it. So that's always good. Rush. I love Rush. I say Quantum is one of my favourite flat rides. Rush is my favourite flat ride. Like, you go on it, and you're just swinging, like, you look up to the sky, like, you just feel like you're in the sky. And it's genuinely so peaceful. And you know, you may look at me and be like, how are you saying that a roller coaster that, like, you know, almost takes you up, like, not a roller coaster, a flat ride that almost takes you upside down is calming and soothing and, like, refreshing? And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. That's just really nice, like, sensation for me. Yeah, that's always really calming, so it's just a giant swing, really, but it's my favourite flat ride. It's just so cool. I'm just like, you just chill on it, you know? I use it as like a nice cool down, you know? Like, too many roller coasters, starting to get a headache, my shoulders kind of ache. Get yourself on Rush. Have a nice, like, chill out. Even though, when me and my dad went, there was, like, so on either side of, like, the two swings, there's, like, doors on the like, I guess it's, like, the counterweights, like, the pillars that hold the counterweights. and the door to one of them was like slightly ajar. So me and my dad kept making the joke of like, this is our final destination moment, where like we thought the whole thing was gonna fall, but then we'd all survive, but then it would just turn into Final Destination. We were just fully ready for it to become a Final Destination scene. So that was really funny. And obviously that doesn't scare me. I'm like, if I'm gonna die, I want it to be on a roller coaster anyway, so... Or Rush, my favourite flat ride, so... If Final Destination happened, I would have been fine. Colossus, I'll talk about next. Colossus, for me... I never used to enjoy it all that much. I'd go on it, be like, yeah, that's pretty good, and then that'd be that. But when I re-went on it recently, I think it's because I went on it after Hyperia. It's something about it felt so nice. And they're also, I don't know if they finished retracking it yet, but they've been like retracking it like section by section, instead of just doing one full big retrack and taking it out of operation for a year or two. They just, like, every time that there's like a break, they'll just like retrack sections and stuff. So I found it to be actually really pleasant, which is crazy, because Colossus and pleasant would have never gone in the same sentence for me, like a while back. So, yeah, I really enjoyed that. Colossus, you can't go wrong though, really. Like, I talk shit about Intamin for how rough their rides get, and it is true that Colossus was extremely rough before they've started retracking it, but now it feels reinvigorated in a sense, and my love for it therefore has also been reinvigorated. So I really did actually enjoy Colossus, but my dad still complained of the shoulder pain. Next to talk about is Stealth. Stealth, to be honest with you, is a roller coaster I normally skip. Well, I used to skip when I lived nearby and would just go whenever. Because for me, there's nothing interesting about it. Like, you want a fast roller coaster, you can go on a fast roller coaster with more to it. You want a tall roller coaster, you can go on a tall roller coaster with more to it. Like, you just kind of go, then you go over the little bump, and then it's over. I'm not queuing for more than 5 minutes, 5-10 minutes, for a roller coaster that lasts less than a minute. And doesn't do something crazy in that time. It just launches you and then takes you over a hill. So for me, Stealth has always been very boring. Like, I'm never like, yay, when I go on Stealth. I'm never like, it doesn't make me feel much. I'm just like, okay, it's Stealth. But yeah, I know that for most other people, that's like probably one of their favourites in the park, but for me, it's just so plain. There's nothing really interesting about it. Next to talk about... I'll talk about The Swarm. The Swarm. This roller coaster is a work of art. Truly. It's a work of art. I remember when it first opened, I got my ass on that roller coaster, and I fucking enjoyed it. I still remember, because it opened in... What year did The Swarm open? Hold on. What year did The Swarm open? 2012. I was 10 when The Swarm... Oh no, I was 9. Because it was before my birthday. I was 9 when The Swarm opened. Nemesis Inferno opened in 2003. Saw the Ride opened in 2009. Stealth opened in 2006. Colossus opened in the year I was born, 2002. Okay. Interesting to know. I know manufacturers and models, but I don't know years things opened, really. My brain can't remember numbers, really, it's just words. But yeah. So I do remember when The Swarm opened. And I loved it. It was so good. And I remember back in the day, if you remember, on the back seat, there used to be a backwards car. That was fun. I think they did that in... I want to say that was like 2014, 2015, they had the backwards car, if I remember correctly. So that was also really fun. And like they ended up doing that on Mandrill Mayhem at Chessington, which I didn't mention, but... Or maybe I did. I don't remember. But yeah, so Swarm is just, it's just, you can't go wrong. you really can't go wrong with it. Like, it's beautiful. It's fun. My only wish would be that it was longer, but the queue can get quite long on it because it's in its own area of the park, and it's usually the first place that people go to because it's right near the entrance. So I understand them not making it longer because only one car goes round at a time, or maybe two, or one goes round and gets to I don't know, but it doesn't have like a midway a midsection break run basically. Like, once you go in, and then you get to the end, is my point. So in terms of like getting people on and all of that and reducing queue times, I can see why they didn't make it longer. But God, it's such a good ride. I wish there was more to it. And then Tidal Wave. Tidal Wave is Tidal Wave. I've never enjoyed it. But I don't like wet clothes, so any water ride that like soaks you, I'll never enjoy because I hate having wet clothes, and my dad never wanted to pay for the little stand-in dryer boxes. So he was like, if we're going on a water ride, you're just going to stay like that. Like, I don't care if you don't want to be soggy, you're staying like that, because I'm not paying for the dryer. So unfortunately, I've never really been on Tidal Wave much, but it doesn't do anything anyway. Flying fish. Okay. The last one I'll talk about is flying fish for current roller coasters. Flying fish is fun. It's not, as a kid, when I was like little, like too short to really go on anything much else at the park, I used to love flying fish. Even when I got a bit older and I kind of aged out of it, I still wanted to go on it sometimes because I was like, it's so nostalgic. The theme is just like you're in like a little fish, and it, you know, it's slow if you compare it to like other roller coasters in the park, but it feels quite fast for what it is. For like a powered rail coaster, it's actually not the slowest thing you've ever been on, or it doesn't feel like it when you're on it. So I'm actually pro flying fish. It's a good ride. I love flying fish. Okay, and then now there's only really two more things I want to talk about here when it comes to Thorpe Park, and that is Logger's Leap. Thank you. Logger's Leap. The land where Hyperion now is used to home my second favourite water ride of all time, Logger's Leap. Was it my favourite water ride because of the actual ride? No. It was my favourite water ride because the theming on it was so good. Not in like a, you feel like you're at Disney kind of good theming. It just felt so like rough around the edges. But I like that. I don't like things that are like too perfect or too good. So for me, Logger's Leap and the theming, and like I loved right. The queue line, you're just going through this like shack thing, right? But then you get to where you actually board the ride, and it's just the logs going down in the water in the queue. And it's like, you know, when logs actually get like sent off, you know, like transported and stuff, that's literally the concept, is you're in a log that's being transported. And something about that is just awesome to me. And I remember when you're going up the first lift, you were going up in this little like shack, and it used to play like soaring sounds like or something like that. It used to play sounds like that as you were going up, and it was a little bit spooky. There was something a little bit spooky about it. So I always loved Logger's Leap, and I was so sad when they got rid of it. And then I found out that they were building like a really good roller coaster on it, and then I was like, okay, good sacrifice. And then I went on Hyperion and I was like, this was not a good sacrifice, give me Logger's Leap back. So that's my thoughts on Logger's Leap that I want to bring in. And then the last thing I want to talk about, the second biggest loss to Thorpe Park, the Slammer. Was it called the Slammer? Or that was a TV show on CBBC. Was it just called Slammer? The Slammer was, who remembers the Slammer, bro? Yeah, Slammer. That It was a SNS Sky Swap. Operated from 2005 to 2017. It was so good. I only ever got to go on it like the last like 2 or 3 times that I went before it shut, because I was a little scared of it, to be honest with you, and my dad never wanted to go on it, so I had to wait to like go on it on my own basically, and like want to go on it on my own as well. So Slammer, I keep wanting to say the Slammer, but that was literally that CBBC show where everyone was in prison and then they did like talent shows and stuff. Was that the concept of the Slammer? Let me know. Maybe I should do a video on this of TV shows from my childhood. But anyway, yeah, so Slammer. That was always just a flat ride that I wanted to go on, and then I finally got to go on it. And I was like, oh my god, I love this. This is so good. And I really enjoyed it, so I was really sad when they got rid of it, but also I understand it was very expensive to run, and it's quite a niche flat ride as well. I don't think there's that many in the world. So I can imagine like getting parts for it and maintenance and stuff was a lot more difficult than with like a B&M roller coaster, right? So I can imagine that's why it closed, but I was still sad. But anyway, I've been talking for close to 40 minutes. How I condense this, I don't know. If I condense this by much other than cutting out my coughs and throat clearing, because this chest infection, the infection's gone, but the chest has not. So, we're still recovering. But anyway, that has been my video about the theme park, Thorpe Park. As with the Chessington video, I'm probably going to have edited in pictures of things that I talked about. So, there we go. There's that. But yeah, there's obviously a lot of rides I didn't talk about, like flat rides and sort of rides for younger people, because they're just never really things that I went on or paid much attention to. But yeah, I talked negatively about some parts of the park, but I also talked about the positives too. Do I think it's better than Alton Towers? We'll get to that in my Alton Towers video. At the end of that video, I'll do like a rundown of the 3 parks and what I think is the best out of them, and the pros and cons of all of them. But I'm going to forget to do that, but oh well. But anyway, yes, I'm trying to stop recording before it gets to the 40-minute mark. Thank you so much for watching this video. The next video, which will come out tomorrow, I believe will be about Valorant Game Changers and my favourite Game Changers team. So if you're interested in Valorant, which you're probably not if you like roller coasters, I think I'm the only person with all of my niches. Like roller coasters, Valorant, K-pop, and J-pop. Like, I'm genuinely like the only people I think that fits all of these niches. So, I don't know, I don't expect anyone to be watching all of these videos other than my friends, if they even want to. But anyway, thank you for watching. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves as always. Pichu out.